Me? Hello, Nima. Akasha Tsibiri, how are you doing?
Fine.
How was your weekend?
Weekend is work. So it's 11 more days to Ramadan. I'm counting down. And I need to structuralize. So we're looking to a partnership, major work. And there's a bit of delay. Now the Ramadan orders are coming in, they're choking me, and it's an empty store right now. So that my partner, in case you're watching, you're the one holding me. Please, I need to place things in, put things in place, because most times in Ramadan I don't work. So I just want the rice to be good.
Everything should be on ground.
Please.
Business woman.
Okay. Welcome back to Makodige.
Welcome back.
You had a global tour.
Just landed.
Yes.
So I need to just do shout outs
hold
to.
on. You didn't come with an accent?
No, I mean, on top of how many weeks did we spend celebrating all our fans? I visited 9 cities, and I think I passed through additional 3 airports that I did not visit the city. But everywhere I went to, I saw someone who watched the show. Even airports that I just breezed through, I met someone that watches the show. So celebrating every one of you. Some sent, somebody sent gifts. Somebody wanted to give me a gift, but my luggage was full. I could not even take it. But I want to seriously appreciate every one of you that watch our show from everywhere around the world. And those of you that came to meet me, that took me out for lunch, the ones that took me out for dinner, I appreciate every one of you. I just have to say that
You didn't cargo our gifts for us.
they are Nigerians. Yeah, you did actually.
You didn't cargo our gifts.
No, I didn't even get it. The person was trying to meet me, but we couldn't see because I was hopping from city to city in a short while.
We hope and you not collect gift.
Don't mind now.
Well, it's good that you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it was a business trip. I have to do my business, and I meet people, and so. I want to open up. So what we did was register my business in UK and in the US, so that people that want to buy properties in the UK or in the US can buy through me, and I can also, those that want to buy here can also buy through me.
We're global now.
That was the agenda, and I think we were able to knock it off. But
That's good.
thank you.
So you don't have to worry about converting to Naira.
No.
Just
Currency there.
How are you doing, Obiachulu?
I'm doing amazing. I had a restful weekend. I was preparing my courses for my coaching trainings, and then I was taking courses as well. I always like to update and upgrade myself, and I just started this course in feminine energy because I realized, yes, that a lot of us are actually operating in the masculine energy, and that's why sometimes we find it difficult, yes, to rest and receive. Some of us don't know how to receive gifts. We don't know how to receive from the universe. So it was really enlightening. I ran through like 4 modules back to back. I can have this hyper focus. Yes, when I want to work, and it was good. I'm just like putting down things that I want to work on so that I can receive more from the universe and just work from a place of ease, basically. So good weekend. In the evening, we had movie time with the kids.
Yeah.
And everybody was just
fantastic. I discovered a series which myself and my husband liked. I mean, now both of us are glued. You know, when you finally discover that thing that you and Oga
can do
together.
In fact, since Friday, we've been back to back. And
Netflix?
Fantastic. It was on Netflix. We've been sitting there, and in fact, both of us, you're asking that, I hope nobody the next season. Just wait for me, you know, and it's really exciting. So that's what we did most of the weekend. Now, we did some small work, but I'm grateful. It was a restful weekend.
It was.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. If you can find them, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. Emefiele launches fresh plot against President-elect Tinubu. Governors take tough stance on Naira scarcity. Government of Ondo government, we pay 24 billion Naira yearly to pensioners. OAU shifts resumption to March 21st. Foreign portfolio investment post first gain in 5 years. Business adopt new tactics to stay afloat of cash crisis. 53 train and bus accident victims out of hospital, says Lagos State. And 35 killed in Kaduna Katsina attacks. Okay, which story are we starting with? Major headline?
No, not major headline. Businesses that are exploring new ways to bypass the adverse effect of the Naira redesign policy. and also find a way to mitigate post-election risk. So we know that there's been anxiety over the outcome of the elections, which happened, but then it subsided, and Nigerians are now beginning to adjust and reduce, to the reduced currency issues that we're having, the cash crunch. So according to The Nation, it said many businesses in the Federal Capital Territory are settling for payments using the POS. Also, the hitches of the electronic platforms are, also subsided, and so people are able to make transfers. There were customers, business owners who were interviewed, one of them, Nancy, and she manages a street food establishment that serves fish, noodles, and in Gudu district. And she was saying that business is gradually coming back to normal. Initially, after they had a break just before the presidential elections and after the presidential elections, but now the patronage is gradually lifting. They're able to make their payments, though there's still no cash. They also interviewed a lot of other businesses around that area, and they had the same thing to say. Even the traders in the market are also finding ways to take these transactions. Some are using their family members' accounts just to make sure that people are able to buy product, and say they are hoping that the new presidential elect, when he is sworn into office, will be able to change some of these policies so that businesses can flourish.
Right. Okay.
Major headline?
Major headline in The Nation is a very controversial one. So, according to The Nation, Emefiele begins a new plot to take over Lagos from Tinubu. And they said that he's conspiring. This fresh plot is conspiring with the Labour Party and the Labour Party governorship candidate in Lagos to do this. They said he gave out 500 million naira in new notes to shore up the campaign of the Labour Party in Lagos. They said that there's a source who called it Oga's own contribution to the takeover Lagos from Tinubu's influence, now that he has become president-elect and will be relocating to Abuja. And he said that is also, this I must take very carefully, that he is the governor of the central bank, who hails from Delta North, is said to be an enthusiastic promoter of the Igbo agenda to install our own in Alausa come May 29. And to perfect the plot, the cooperation of a senior military officer in command position in Lagos is said to have been secured by Emefiele. And the commander is expected to provide military muscle to the agenda to take over Lagos.
All of this according to
the Nation. He said he's also provided to cover for the massive rigging that was reported in Amu-Odofi, Ojo, Alaba, and Iba areas for the party in Lagos. This is a very serious one, and I hope that the authorities look into this report.
All right, so the Nigeria's foreign portfolio investment status has witnessed a major turnaround since 2018. In 5 years, according to them, the yearly inflows outweighs the inflows for the first 5 years. Says for the first time in 5 years, actually. Latest annual trading data on the FPI show that foreign investors bought more Nigerian stocks than they sold last year. According to the transaction, which was ended 2022, it says it had a surplus of 12.29 billion naira as against the deficit of 24 billion back in 2021. This was coordinated by the Nigerian Exchange, including transactions from nearly all custodians and capital market operators, and is widely regarded as a credible measure for the FPI. This is good because when people always use the blanket statement that, oh, all the foreign investors are leaving Nigeria, nobody wants to invest in Nigeria, this is telling you that more investors have invested in the last 5 years. They have surplus investment more than we had in 2018.
Let me take the story of NDLEA, that's the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. They intercepted in the airport, Lagos Airport in Ikeja, intercepted via intelligence 11.9 kilograms of heroin and 500 grams of skunk. It was concealed in a deep freezer. And it came in from South Africa via Ethiopian airline through Addis Ababa. The agency's sniffer dog were able to locate these illicit drugs that were hidden in the cargo and identified it within the deep freezer that was brought in. Also, 4 suspects that were displayed in the newspaper played active role in the movement of these drugs, and a truck driver has been arrested for connection with this seizure. So that thumbs up to NDLEA. Another thing that happened within the same airport was the fact that a woman called Aigbedion Philomena was going to Italy via Addis Ababa through Ethiopian airline again, and she hid drugs, 1.2 kilogram of tramadol capsules inside her bag, hidden within body creams that were wrapped in gifts as gifts to give people, but they were able to intercept and catch that. They also listed a lot of other things that they were able to get. A Camry in Lagos that was carrying drugs, skunk weighing 17 kilograms. Suspects were also arrested, and their names are just Benjamin Oluwatobiloba Ajayi, both 37 and 48 respectively, were arrested carrying the 17 kilograms of skunk with a Toyota Camry in Lagos last Thursday.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Governors give Malami Emefiele Tuesday ultimatum to obey Supreme Court. Picture here of one of the victims of the accident that happened in Lagos. My daughter preparing for masters in the UK before train crash, says that. Sacked lecturer, Senate threatens to stop UI funding. Anger as gunmen kill 35 in Katsina and Kaduna. Adamu's fate, National Assembly leadership top agenda as senators-elect meet Tinubu. Beavers reset ends today. INEC promises results transmission. No going back on nationwide protest, says LP, and defend headquarters mom as Nigeria drops in global military ranking. All right, what's the story are we starting with?
Major headline.
Yeah.
So state governments, which sued the federal government on the Naira redesign policy, have given the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, and the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele till Tuesday to comply with the order of the Supreme Court on the currency. The state governments are threatening to file contempt charges against the top officials on Tuesday if they fail to obey the Apex Court, which ordered that the 1,000 Naira, 500 and 200 should be in circulation alongside the new notes till December 31st. Now, it's been over 1 week after the court handed down the order. The Attorney General of the Federation, the CBN, have not said anything about the verdict, and so the silence has emboldened most Nigerian businesses to reject the money. There's also another report that said if you go to the banks now, you see that they've loaded some of the old notes in the ATMs, but Nigerians are not agreeing to take that money. And so one of the things they said why they could not go back to court immediately to file against them for not saying anything about the verdict or not complying with the order was that they were waiting for the certified true copy, that's the CTC, of the order. But now they have given it to the Attorney General of the Federation. If they don't say anything about it, they will go back to court tomorrow. If the CBN governor does not say anything about this today, they'll go back to court tomorrow and sue the federal government and the CBN and the AGF as well again.
Yeah, that's how we strengthen the system.
One of the victims of the accident that happened in Lagos, her name was Oreoluwa Aino. Her father was speaking to an interview to a reporter in Punch, and it was really such a painful interview to read. He was saying that his daughter actually had plans to do her master's in the UK. She was finished her university, NYSC, and the reason why she was in that Lagos State staff bus is because of this cashless policy. She didn't have cash, so she decided to go on the free journey with the Lagos State government staff bus, and that's where, unfortunately, she met her death. He was quite pained at her death, and he has asked that the government do some kind of a re-evaluation of all our drivers, especially those carrying quite a number of passengers. The way they take seriously the pilots who fly planes, they should also take seriously those who are driving any of the buses, especially government buses, and they must be having keen interest in the safety of the people. It was such a painful thing to read. I mean, he said that although he said that he observed the facility, and he was actually very hurt to see that many people died in that accident. This is a really painful situation, and I feel bad, but I'm happy that the government is doing a lot to see what they can do to ensure this doesn't happen again.
UI, as an institution, the University of Ibadan, I hope that they have an option for funding because the Senate is threatening to stop their funding. The Chairman Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, Ayo Akinye Elure, has threatened the Senate that he may direct the Ministry of Finance not to release funds to the university for the 2023 budget. This is because the Senate Committee has, tried to get the university to reinstate a female lecturer, Dr. Adenike Ogushe, whose appointment was terminated by the university. She went to court, and the court ruled that her removal from appointment, from the sack from the university was wrong. It was unethical, and they ordered that she be reinstated. She tried to get the reinstatement years after the judgment. She couldn't, and so she petitioned the Senate. the Senate looked into her removal and summoned the VC of the University of Ibadan, who refused to come over allegations of conspiracy and victimization of Ms. Ogushe. Right. And he refused to show up and also refused to reinstate her 7 years after. So the Senate are saying, since the university and its authorities are acting as if they are above the law, the Senate will have to wield a strong shield.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us.
So I'm taking a story, in Punch. I'm taking a story in Punch, okay. Concerning beavers. So the INEC has submitted that by the close of work today, all the resets going on with beavers would have been completely done. They said the election that took place on the 25th of February had some challenges with that has led to the reset of beavers. Some states have already concluded, which is why the election was postponed from March 11th to March 18th, so that they can reconfigure the beavers. Some states have finished, but by the end of work today, all states would have finished resetting their beavers. They also mentioned that no sensitive material has been compromised. While some states had already started moving sensitive materials, immediately the election was postponed on Thursday last week. Everybody that was moving the sensitive material had returned those materials back to CBN to be for protection. They also mentioned that the issues that happened with the IREV, that upload was difficult, has been resolved, and so the result, said the polling unit result will be submitted on the IREV portal. And even though the issues happened in 25th of February election, all those issues have been fixed, which is why the beavers was reset. So we're looking forward to INEC is saying that we should look forward to the next election on the 18th of March to be each free.
Saturday. All right, Daily Sun, presidential election. Atiku PDP battle INEC over beavers. Senators elect favor Southeast for Senate president. Zango Kataf killings, death toll hits 17. Gunmen kill 17 in Kaduna, Ebonyi. Ex-Boko Haram fighter, traditional ruler, 35 others arrested for drug trafficking. Naira redesign, ACF angry with Buhari. Nigeria's first female senator, Franca Afegbua, dies at 79. Ohaneze solidly behind Obi to recover mandate. Let me take the killing that happened in Zango Kataf local government of Kaduna State. The death toll has risen to 17, according to this Daily Sun reports. According to the reports also, there's been an ongoing battle in the community where we're having herders being attacked by the locals, and locals having been allegedly reported to have poisoned some of the cows, having issues with farmers being attacked. And so there was a bit of retaliation where a villager was killed, but the headsmen that came to retaliate, and these are now led to about 17 who have been killed so far in the community. The chairman of the local government, Mr. Zimba, has condemned the attack, describing it as barbaric, and he has also instructed that investigations must unravel the perpetrators behind these attacks and then brought to book as soon as possible. But I'm happy that calm has been restored to the community. But these are, according to the reports also, these are long-standing communal clashes that has been happening and been resolved and been managed. But unfortunately, this one now went out of hand where more of 17 people were killed in the outcome.
Let me take Franca Afegbua. So Senator Franca Afegbua from Okwela in Edo North, she was the first female senator in Nigeria in 1983. She died yesterday, March 12, in her home, and the family are yet to announce burial arrangements. But, very soon they will do that. She was from a native of Okwela town in Esako, East local government of the old Bendel state and now Edo state. Her political journey was cut short by the military after 3 months of assuming office as the senator for the Bendel North.
Okay, back to NDLEA again. They arrested a rehabilitated ex-fighter of the Boko Haram terror group, Alayi Madu, and the traditional ruler of Kajola, a border community between Ondo and Edo states, Bale Akiola Adebayo. They were among 37 persons arrested over 2.2 tons of illicit drugs seized by the agency at the International Airport, Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Ikeja. And this was also as a result of the raids that happened across 12 states in the past week. So they said one of the reasons they are doing this is to try and mop up illicit drugs in the community and across the country. And according to the story, they said in March 10, they stormed Kajola Forest in Kajola community. That's the border town, where they destroyed 3 cannabis farms measuring about over 39 hectares. They said the owner of the farm claimed to be the Bale of Kajola, Akiola Adebayo, who was aged 35 years old, and he was arrested on the farm at about 2:30 a.m., while other suspects believed to be his workers were also arrested alongside him. They mentioned their names here. And they still went ahead to find the rehabilitated Boko Haram person who has surrendered in 2021 to the Nigerian army. That was also picked up and arrested because they found him with drugs. Thank you to NDLEA for the work that they are doing. We just need to see that people are, paying attention to what is happening.
So I want to take a story from the Arewa Constitutive Forum. They are angry with the President, Muhammadu Buhari, saying that his decision not to comply with the Supreme Court order is going to lead to chaos. They said 10 days ago, the Supreme Court held that the President has breached the Constitution in the way he issued a directive to the Central Bank for a redesign of the Naira without consulting with the National Council of States and the Federal Executive Council, and went further to say that while it would be remiss of them not to let the President know that they've supported the President for a long time. This statement was issued by the Secretary General Murtala Aliyu. And he said the President is under oath to defend the Constitution of Nigeria, and his long-term supporters, they must let him know that this, whatever benefits the redesign of the Naira has, it's outweighed by the damage, and he should maintain his credentials as a stickler for democracy and rule of law. And apart from that, there's a lot of crisis, and there might be anarchy, and there's a lot of disorder that might happen if it is not complied with. They feel 10 days is enough time for the President to comply with the Supreme Court's order, and generally worried about what will happen if that isn't done right now.
Vanguard, Tinubu bids to form government of national unity. MAN, market operators, others list agenda for incoming government. NUT, NANS, NAPTAN, others set agenda for Tinubu education sector. Train bus disaster, remains of core member buried amid tears in Lagos. We won't forget or attack victim, says Akeredolu. Leadership tussle, hoodlum sack Undo monarch from palace. Gunmen kill 36 in Kaduna, Katsina. Alcohol will destroy you, article tells Wike. Oil spill, shell incidents rise 100%, 12 in 1 month, says report. Let me start with the agenda setting. So quite a number of organizations have started setting an agenda or presenting an agenda for the president-elect. MAN is one of them, and the NUT, amongst other educational stakeholders, have set the agenda. Starting with university lecturers' desires, they're saying that the welfare packages for lecturers must be improved. We can't continue to have a calendar where our lecturers can't even predict the time when school starts or ends. And their welfare is something that must be taken very seriously in the next administration. Polytechnic lecturers also said that the outgoing administration has not shown any good attitude to education at all, and there must be complete attitudinal change on the part of the new government, taking education very seriously. The parent organization, as NAPTAN, also has said that the president-elect should focus attention on education, as is the bedrock, and without education, the nation cannot move forward. And more importantly, NUT was very specific, saying that they want the budgetary allocations to the sector must be real, and there must be massive recruitment of teachers outside Lagos and a few other states. Many other states across the nation have not hired or recruited teachers in years, and they're insisting that the president-elect must ensure that other states engage teachers for education to be improved. Also, NANS, that's the National Association of Nigerian Students, also said that they would like the president-elect to prioritize education sector, which is also important. So I'm happy that many organizations are coming forward to
I have good news from Edo State. So the Edo State government backed Edo Modular Refinery has ordered supply of 150,000 barrels of crude oil to meet its demand to its growing clientele base weeks after it started operation. And according to the Special Assistant on Media Projects to the Edo State government, Kuso Osagi, he says that crude will be sourced from Oza Oil Field, which is also operated by Deca Resources Incorporation and Millennium Oil and Gas Company Limited. This Edo refinery produces 6,000 barrels a day. It has a 6,000 barrels per day capacity right now, and they're looking to expand to 21,000 barrels per day production.
Wow.
And they produce.
That's what we've been asking for now. Modular refinery. Fantastic.
They produce about 500,000 liters of diesel, 300,000 liters of naphtha, and 200,000 liters of low poor oil.
Right.
So let me quickly get the story of leadership tussle in Akure, Ondo State. A traditional leader of the Ogeloyinbo of Ayetoro in Ilajel local government area of Ondo State was sacked from his throne. Properties worth millions of naira was destroyed. 2 buildings close to the palace was destroyed. This monarch was brought in place by a court order, and he wrote a letter to the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, alleging that his travail started when the court had already put him in power. Some people still kept trying. Mr. Oluwambe or Jagbonwumi, who is a prophet, has been working against him leaving the throne. Thankfully, he wasn't harmed because the naval officers came to rescue him from the hoodlums that were going to kidnap and harm him. So we're happy about that, but we're praying for peace within the community.
Thank you, Tokwe. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back for the hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we continue our discussion on the lingering Naira scarcity. It has been almost 2 weeks since a 7-member panel of the court, led by John Okoro, unanimously directed the CBN must continue to receive the old notes from Nigerians. However, the federal government or the CBN of Nigeria is yet to issue a specific statement. Many Nigerians are lamenting, and there's so many videos on social media demonstrating the anger Nigerians are having. I had a few of mine too last weekend where I kept telling Nigerians that we are allowed to spend, but the plantain seller says, I can't collect it because my supplier will not collect for me. It took a while for us to get them to stop collecting. It might take a while for us to reverse it. But either way, something must be drastically done. What are your thoughts on it? What are experiences? Could you share with us? You can call us on the numbers on your screen. 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Over the weekend, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was saying that I was talking excited, like, so thank God the Supreme Court who has said, Morel, please leave the Supreme Court matter. He's an educated person. That CBN, the owner of the currency, has not said anything. Is this Supreme Court I'll be listening to? So the truth is that we want CBN to say something. Nigerians would not react until they hear from the man who is the custodian of the monetary policy, the currency that is in question here. He should be the one to tell us if we should go ahead and accept these old Naira notes or not.
So we do not require the CBN to pronounce anything before we proceed. But if the CBN has put on ground an impediment to the ease of that Supreme Court order, then they must. So the CBN had opened a portal on their website requiring us to go there, fill a form, generate a code to deposit the old Naira notes, including the 200 in the past. That portal is still as active as before, till today. That portal and the requirement is what the banks must do to receive any old notes till today, even though it impedes the ease of enforcing the Supreme Court order. And because of that, CBN must do something to remove that requirement. Imagine now, I'm doing business and there's a Supreme Court order. As a Nigerian, I know that the Supreme Court is the final court in this country. And I say, okay, bring your old notes. I exchange it for goods. And then I have a bulk amount I need to do a transaction online for. I take it to the bank. The bank will say, where is your code? Because they have already created a business for certain people outside the bank. In this place, there's one across the road here. You just go there, generate code, pay that person. because the person is already on the CBN website waiting for anybody to come to generate code. He makes money. And then I go to the bank. So I cannot just easily walk into the bank and say, I have a 1 million old note. They will say there's a requirement of only 500,000 per account. And there's a requirement to generate code.
So you generate code for each.
I will now open an account for all my staff. I'm using them. You to go and do 500 today. Tomorrow, that kind of hardship that the CBN is creating is what we are talking about here.
You have not been in the country, so I can't even ask for your experience. You just got back.
But you see, the challenge is we don't understand the impact this thing is having on every business. So I had conversations with everybody, and many people in diaspora are complaining that their family members cannot eat. Is that bad? Like, they are asking me if I have any connection that can help them get cash in Nigeria so that their parents can eat at home. We can all talk about the problem, lament all the issues, but until the government is decisive about solving the problem, they won't.
No,
and it lies.
It's
not our decision.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm tired of us using this government must decide. There's one. I'll come to you. You're not right. You're not wrong. You're right. But we need to start mentioning names. It's not government anymore. It's Emefiele.
It's not Emefiele, it's the president.
Emefiele.
Call the name of the president. What? The president is the decision maker. Emefiele cannot act without the president's permission. Yes. So the fact that Emefiele can grandstand against the rule of law from the Supreme Court is because the president is telling him to go ahead, or the president is ignorant of the hardship people are going through.
All of us are correct on this one.
I think you're actually right, because the truth is that the buck stops at the table of the president. But the truth is that even if the president makes a pronouncement, do you know that until Nigerians hear from Emefiele, they won't do anything? So because he's the one that started with this policy, Nigerians, no matter even if Buhari comes out today, you're right. The box stops at the table. But Nigerians still, until Emefiele, who the CBN governor says, no, many people don't want to accept.
Prior, the box stops at Buhari's table. And what now? Also, what qualification of economics does he know? His advisor is Emefiele. So all of us, we are correct. Emefiele is the one that will carry for Moga. This is going to fight corruption. The CBN is now EFCC. We are fighting corruption.
President will say yes.
He say yes.
That's all.
And the Supreme Court has given order. President will think things are moving fine. Emefiele is the one that generated code. They have not told President that code is causing problem. There's a report in the Punch this morning that the economy is grinding to a halt and has lost over 20 trillion following the mopping up of over 70% of our cash from circulation by the central bank. And this new report is by an economic think tank, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, this Sunday, yesterday. That passed. We are not looking at the implication. The president is still thinking things are going normal because the central bank will come and say, it's online transactions.
No, and we're receiving increasing money.
Our online transactions are perfect. We are top notch. President will think that reflects the entire country because these are his team, the experts.
So
they are sitting there in the central bank. He doesn't know better. Right. See, it depends on the people you have on top of things. You can't do everything.
So that is not an excuse. A leader should be able to know when policies that they have set is not working. Are they not listening to the news? Do they not read newspapers in the morning? The team, are they going to lie and hide the newspaper without the president asking, let me see the papers, what are my people saying? There are women, men, children, young boys, young girls who are getting naked in the banks every day. Are they not seeing that this is impacting on them negatively? Initially, they said they cannot fault.
The paper that our president reads them, we are reading.
No, how can it be different?
No, it can't be the same.
No, it cannot be.
Our president cannot be reading kind of paper we're reading, and it's the same week. It has to be different.
So that tells me that there's an agenda. This silence now, that the president is silent about this matter, the CBN is silent about this matter, there's an agenda. I would like to understand in their head what is going on. Initially, after the state had taken them to court, they said they cannot do anything again. The court cannot do anything again till they collect their CTC, certified true copy of the order. Now they have sent it to them. It was taken in the papers this morning. They have sent it to them. If the CBN governor does not say anything today, the president does not say anything to alleviate this issue from this suffering from our hands, then they will go back and resue them again in court. If the president can set an example of not obeying the rule of law, please, nobody should come and arrest anybody, any small human being for traffic, for not obeying traffic laws or for not doing what they're supposed to do at the same time. You must start by example. And this is your opportunity as a president
to leave a lasting legacy. In a few months, you're out.
Yeah.
How do you want Nigerians to remember you? Are you even thinking about
this
it?
is what we're going to remember.
This
is the only thing
you don't even care about
It's
it.
the closing.
It's the closing. This is a very bad closing.
Is the ending.
Is the ending.
Is the finishing.
Okay,
That we
but
remember.
I've been asking this question for a while, and I don't know why nobody can answer me. Why is it so difficult to arrest the CBN governor?
No.
Who is
Trying
He's
to arrest him?
protected.
That's not even the
Somebody needs
Wait
to.
now.
That's not
the
he needs
conversation.
They tried to arrest
Somebody
him.
must, because what
In
you're doing right now,
allegations.
in the legal framework,
Yes.
there's got to be something we can
No,
use
it's
to
not
hold
above.
against
No.
him.
You
No,
see, a
this thing
police
that he's doing
officer
now, Shay,
with a
like
simple
disobeying
this thing right
the
now,
law.
somebody can he be arrested?
Yes.
With the
Someone
governor?
got
president.
An enforcement order, and the IG would
Why
be
can't
strong.
we do that?
The
Why
lowest
is Sarah?
rank of police
No,
officer
but
to
the
arrest
IG
him.
reports to
But
the
he's being
president.
protected. He's being protected.
Yes, now by
So
the
we said,
president.
the IG
I
reports
tell
to the
you, say
president.
the other day, somebody saw him at Tinubu Square, the CBN Lagos office, and the number of police around, they say na full barracks. Escort and come. He's protected, so they don't want that clash. So you see what the DSS tried to do the other time. They say, oh, why are you trying to arrest the CBN governor? He's trying to fight corruption. You are fight corruption, you are fight Nigeria.
And they say corruption is
this
fighting
report
back.
that I read yesterday, Muda Yusuf of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce is now the director of the CPP, and he was the one giving about how Nigerians have entered penury. I know someone who has a thriving business in Ikeja, but every weekend she's at my house asking, do you have cash? You people have some small cash. Let me exchange.
Everybody's
Because
not a beggar.
she doesn't drive to the office because of traffic. We cannot close people's lives
Everybody's a
Yeah.
because of
Let me
this.
go on a break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines and hear real Nigerians' experiences and stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of cash crunch, and many Nigerians are still lamenting. Joining the conversation now is Dr. Muda Yusuf. He is the Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE. Welcome, Dr. Yusuf. Are you there?
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. We'd like you to join this conversation because Nigerians are still quite worried that even after 2 weeks where the Supreme Court had declared that we should go ahead to use both the old notes and the new notes, today many traders, many organizations are still rejecting to accept or to use the old notes. And we're still yet to hear from the CBN governor on this. Do you think it is required for us to hear from the CBN governor, or what do we do to get the traders and regular folks to begin to use the old notes?
Well, for the average person in the marketplace, the authentic source of information that they know is either the president or the CBN governor. Well, we already have a Supreme Court judgment, but they are not as familiar with the Supreme Court as they are with utterances or pronouncements from the central bank or the president. Just a few days ago, I met one of these people hawking things on the streets. And I asked him, will you take the old notes? He said no. I said, why? He said, we never hear from Buhari. Buhari never talk. You know, that is the sense across the entire country, especially for those at the retail end of the business. And the fact that we have seen this silence on the part of both the CBN governor and the president of the country is also sending a message. And the message that people are ascribing to this silence is that of reluctance to comply with the Supreme Court judgment, which is very, very unfortunate. And sometimes, though I listened to part of your discussion before the break, sometimes you wonder whether they are not getting any feedback at all as to how the citizens are feeling. Because leaders are there to serve the people. And if the people are going through a pain and suffering of this magnitude, 10 days after a judgment, nothing is being said, nothing is being heard, and the people are groaning. Quite frankly, it's just very difficult for me to comprehend. I don't know what they want to achieve. I don't know what exactly is going on. So I think as citizens, we need to escalate the matter a lot more.
Escalate to
we
where?
need to raise our voice.
All right, let me get a few questions in for you. Go ahead.
Raise our voices.
Do you think we are a fearful people? Why do I say this? Because from the look of things, it seems like our leaders are not even willing to pay attention to our needs. And at some point, we may have to take our lives in our hands. And some people would say Nigerians are not ready for a revolution. Nigerians don't have the liver for a revolution. We are more talk shop. We talk, and everybody adjusts. And then the leaders capitalize on the fact that we are able to adjust and just keep pushing the boundaries. Do you think, or do you expect that at some point we should ignore them and start using this cash amongst us? So if I come to your store, I buy, I give you the old cash, you collect it. You know, you go to the supplier, you give them the old cash, they collect it. Do you think that should be the way to go, or we're just a very fearful people?
No, I don't think that is the way to go.
Okay.
The way to go is to compel those whom we have elected to do what they should do. When the president took the oath of office, he swore by the Constitution. He swore to uphold the Constitution. He was holding the Quran in his hands. And that was the essence of the oath of office. Now we have a Supreme Court judgment, and this judgment is not being obeyed either by him or by his agents, and yet we are keeping quiet. So the thing to do is not to go and be engaging the operators in the market. The thing to do is to engage the president himself and his agencies.
Mr. Yusuf,
Right.
about 70...
We have to compare them to make sure that they comply with it. Unfortunately, our National Assembly is not doing the work they should do.
All right, let me get a few questions in for you, sir.
So, Mr. Yusuf, about 70% of the cash in circulation are already mopped up. We believe that some of them are no longer at the bank vaults. They're already destroyed. If we were to, to get this enforcement or get a pronouncement from the president today and the central bank governor today, how quickly do you think the economy will revive?
You see, first of all, we still have a few of those old notes in the system. The banks have been releasing some of those old notes. If you have had a pronouncement from the central bank, just as the way he addressed the country when he was going to impose this policy, if he addressed the press or addresses the country and said that, well, in line with the Supreme Court judgment, old notes and new notes will coexist between now and December, this tension will go down. I don't believe that they have destroyed all the notes. I don't believe that. I believe they still have quite a substantial amount of those notes in their vaults. I mean, the ones they were releasing, where did they get them from?
Right.
I think they got them from somewhere.
All right, sir.
So they still have those old notes.
Dr. Yusuf, going by what BC said earlier, because the truth is that when this thing started, we saw Governor El-Rufai come out openly to tell his people, spend the old notes. So do you think maybe Governor, since Femi Adesina cannot advise his president, and Garba Shehu are not advising their president, maybe individual governors should come out and come and tell their people within their states to use the notes? Because I think Charles Soludo, that's the governor of Anambra, has said it outright. I saw a message that he said on Sunday telling his people that he just confirmed personally from the CBN governor that they can go ahead and use, but we need a general declaration for the whole of Nigeria. So what role do you think governors can play in ensuring that people start using these notes?
And obey the rule of law.
The governors have done their best. Initially, they led the delegation to the CBN governor. He didn't let it. They led a delegation to the president. It didn't yield any results. As a last resort, they went to court, which is what they have done. They got a court judgment. Many of them had advised their citizens to continue to take the old news. But the psychology of the average citizen in the marketplace is that pronouncements that will be valid as far as currency is concerned has to come from the central bank or from the president. That is their psychology. And in any case, what does it cost the CBN or the president to make that pronouncement? What does it cost them? Especially when your citizens are going through this kind of pain, this kind of agony. People are losing businesses, they are losing jobs, people are going hungry, people are trekking on the road.
All right, thank you very much.
Democratic government, we elected them for goodness sake.
Yeah. You're very correct, Dr. Yu. Thank you so much, because I mean that's exactly all Nigerians are saying. Thank you very much for continuing to help us amplify this issue, because the truth is that Nigerians need their leaders to speak up at this time. We'll be speaking to Dr. Muda Yusuf. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on this. I'm going to come back to you, because Mr. I've not heard from you on this. I just saw a message from the governor of Lagos State. So governors are gradually beginning to, 3 hours ago, he's also saying that his people in Lagos should start using the old ones as legal tender. A number of governors who have said the same thing. Do you think more governors should begin to speak since our president is not talking?
Well, I think that, you see, when there is absence of leadership, there's likely to be anarchy. And that's what worries me more than any other thing. Because as much as we feel, this is in Daboski, there's a spirit of, let us fight, revolution, let us let the leaders understand the voice of the people. But we've seen where revolutions have happened, and we've seen how it turned out. Very few are good. And in most cases, it might end up being violent, and loss of lives might happen. So as much as possible, I would still advocate for peace. I'll still advocate for, let us continue talk shop. Let's continue lamenting and shouting and hoping that they hear us. And it seems they're hearing, because at least the governors have something at stake. Every governor would say the same thing. Believe me, Murayo, in the next few hours, all the governors will say, because they have elections coming up next week. So there is a very present stake for the governors for peace to reign in their states. And so maybe when all the governors come in one voice, maybe the president will hear, because the president obviously does not believe us. The president doesn't believe social media. He doesn't believe the newspaper. He doesn't believe what anybody is saying apart from what his closest aides are saying, and they are definitely not giving him the real picture.
Governor Rufai said that he had to tell the president the particular information that was already 2 days old on the papers. I know
he did not get it.
One of the reasons why I'm never a fan of revolution, right, is because there's no revolution that doesn't end at the negotiation table.
They will still negotiate.
After blood has been spilled, everybody still comes back and still negotiate. So why don't we negotiate before people die? Because who's willing to sacrifice their own child to go and lose their life then before we now come back again and discuss and agree? So let's always find a way to resolve it. It's by really putting the people first. Let's go on the break. When we come back, continue on this topic. We're going to hear from Nigerians. It's important that we hear from real Nigerians, so that when our leaders hear Nigerians speak, they understand it's not just the ladies of the view talking. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I would like to take a few messages from, I know people want to say something.
No, no need.
Okay, let me take some messages
message.
online.
Go ahead.
Okay, we have Professor Sakibo. It says, this Naira confiscation is turning hard-working Nigerians to beggars. Why is it difficult for the federal government to listen to the cries of innocent Nigerians who did not vote for this high level of suffering? The federal government must arrest this chaos before it consumes our country. And he says, on the Lagos election, I don't trust the nation, given how they don't even try to hide their bias. But anything they say Emefiele did, he did it. Emmanuel says, one lesson to draw from all of this is that no court judgment, even if the highest court in the land, can confer legitimacy on a currency issued backed by the good faith of the central bank. Nigeria's problems are largely institutional, not individualistic as you are making it.
Let me take this message from Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. He said that for those of us expecting CBN governor or PMB to make statements or for them to be charged for contempt, There's nothing in the judgment which requires the CBN governor or the president to do anything. However, the judgment is mere declaration of confirmation. But a responsible CBN governor and president, and I'm raising now, who has Adeshino and Garba Shehu as advisors, we expect them to make statements since the people are expecting them to do so, but not that they are obliged by law to do so. So we know that you cannot hold the president. So what he's trying to correct me that we can't go and arrest the CBN for not saying anything. But in good conscience, understand that Nigerians need you to just open and say this one statement, and then so that the market woman can accept all the Naira notes.
So I like to always look for solutions when issues happen. So instead of going round and round and round, I like the fact that the governors are now coming out in their different states to say, go ahead and use this money. But I want a bit more reassurance from these governors. If your people, for instance, Sanwo-Olu has said in Lagos State, you can go ahead and use the old notes. Your people start using the old notes, and then they get to the point where they're supposed to exchange it or pay it into the account. And the banks are saying that they will not take it. What will you do as a governor of the states? Can you go ahead, get the police and arrest those bank officers who are refusing to collect, or arrest those CBN people who are insisting on codes? Is there something you can do to show that I am behind you, my citizens? Go ahead and use this money. And if you get to CBN and they're asking for code and asking for their, come back and tell, set up an office, report this to us, and we will take it up from there. That will be more reassuring to the citizens to know that, okay, our governor in our state has our back, that if we use this money and they refuse to collect it back from us, they will be prosecuted. And I want to ask Nima, because she's the lawyer in our midst, does the governor have that jurisdiction to arrest people within his state who are not complying with the rule of law?
No. He's the highest authority. Anybody, even a law-abiding Nigerian can arrest in the minute if a crime is happening in your
citizens arrest.
Yes, citizens arrest. But when it comes to institutions like this, sometimes they will have clogs. Not that they don't have certain powers, because they don't have the authority to order the police.
No, the governor doesn't have the authority?
No. You cannot.
You cannot order IG.
You cannot order IG. You cannot order commissioner. Commissioner reports to IG. And commissioner will get his order from IG. IG gets order from the president. So the president is in charge of everything. Yes. And it is really, and I think that we should all be calling out his name. The papers call out his name. He's the president. The president is in charge. He's not, we should leave Emefiele alone. Emefiele follows the command of the president. Yes, the president will advise him, but he's the one in charge.
Two of them.
I know Nima is doing the drama.
Let me pause you.
But he's the president.
Okay, just a moment. Hang in there. Let me take Yakub. He's been holding for a minute. You think that Yakub is our... Come on, Yakub, are you there?
Yeah,
you always get through. Please tell our callers how you get through every issue. Because they think we call you specially.
It's just consistency of being trying, continue trying. So
right, but go ahead.
If you have sympathy for something, you have to try.
All right, go ahead, Yakub.
Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Everybody in the studio. Well, I listened to Dr. Muda Yusuf. He made mention something that he don't really know what they want to achieve. If Dr. Muda Yusuf said that he don't really know what they want to achieve, we Nigerians know what they want to achieve, especially with that support of President-elect. We know what they want to achieve, but God Almighty Allah don't allow them to achieve that. And then when you don't achieve your aim by bringing this kind of policy, you need to retrieve your setback, your leg, and do the needful. Let me give you this question here. You remember the president-elect went to state one time ago during the campaign, and then he made mention that even if you increase the fuel price to 1,000, even if you mop up all the money in circulation, Dibo, so that's what the people want. Nigerian citizens, especially with support of the president-elect, got it. That it is all because of him. I'm sorry to say this, that they bring this kind of policy, especially whereby the central bank government wants to become the president. And then when he failed to get the ticket, he now wait for them. At the time of that, okay, I did not get this ticket, but I have another in my workbook I want to use to make sure that you are not getting it. See, right on this policy, if it is not God Almighty, Allah one, I thought God Almighty.
Thank you very much, Yakub. So let me read exactly from the governor of Lagos State so that we're very clear, especially for those of you that live in Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has called on business owners and especially retailers to accept the 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes, in line with the Supreme Court judgment that the currency remains a legal tender until December 31st, 2023. Therefore, this is where the arrest comes in, BC. Therefore, it is illegal to reject the notes. So because he has said that it is now illegal, if you don't accept that note, you can actually
report you to the police.
Can they just have a meeting?
let me
So
take
my
that
office,
off.
my
Wait,
office
just
hasn't
stop
opened for a week, not even 2 weeks. Nobody has come to my office. None of my staff could come because they don't have transport fare, and it happens to be a lot of people. So can we just start with the NURTW? Well, park management, well, anybody that runs public transport system. So can we have a meeting? Can the governor trickle that information down to them? If the transporters would accept old notes, it would ease a lot of problems. So if the currency flows through transport system, people will start knowing that things are really changed, and they would listen to the governor because they already have a relationship.
Very, very true. I would give an example. So my sister had gone to Lagos Island Market. All that she bought, there was no perishable products in what she bought. But she had a 500 naira note, and the seller kept looking at the money that pay. She had agreed to a transfer. But she kept saying, just deduct that 500 and give me the cash. And she kept saying, no, I cannot release the money. So she was done, and remember, she didn't buy one thing. And turned back and said, how much is it? The seller said 1,000 naira. She then said, okay, my money is not enough. Let me go. She said, come. Just take it.
Give me that.
She
was willing to
500
sell
naira
at a
note.
loss.
to collect that note.
She then said, why are you so desperate? She said, because I live in Ikorodu. And to go home, I cannot be paying 100 naira, 50 naira by transfer. They will not even agree. I don't have notes, old or new notes as I am now. I'm desperate to go back.
Let me quickly take this call from Mina. I'll come back to you.
True.
Mina Etsu, good morning. Are you there? Sorry for keeping you.
Good morning,
You're live. Go ahead, please.
How are you?
Very well.
Thank you. I appreciate the program. Some of us, I think what is happening in this country, Mora, we need to join hands together so that we can speak out. Nigerians are suffering, Mora. They are suffering. In fact, I want to number one, because there is no time, if it's possible, because this thing is water and start that you are talking about, and even COVID-19. So let's all Nigeria now, let's put it in our statute, and we say that please, Mr. President, review this policy.
It's a begging matter.
This is what I want all the media houses to be talking about. We should be all talking about review these policies. They always be begging the president. But it's like the media houses are doing nothing.
Only us they talk about that. Only us.
Media houses are talking. What else do you want us to say?
The policy is good, Mora, but the executive, the way the federal government go about the policy, we are not that.
Thank you very much, Etsu.
People are so.
Thank you very much, Etsu. You've been talking about this thing like back to back.
I've been surprised to come back here and we're still discussing this.
Oh, you left us.
I left people discussing the problem.
We are still on this
So
matter.
I wanted to take what the former CBN governor and present governor of Anambra State said to his people. He said that following a directive at the bankers committee meeting on Sunday, yesterday, he called the CBN governor, Emefiele, and he said to him that Nigerians can now freely accept and transact with the old currencies. And so he's directing his people that they must continue to transact. And any bank that refuses to take a deposit of that money will be reported to the CBN by the state governor, and they would also shut down that branch of that bank. But then, he now went further to say that commercial banks have also been directed by the CBN to dispense the old currency and to receive it as deposit. But tellers at commercial banks are to generate codes for the deposits. And there's no limit to the number of times an individual or company can make the deposit going forward. So even though now they remove the 500,000 limit per account, they are not removing code.
You see, generate.
We see there somewhere. So we need to know where we are going.
Let's even pay transportation.
Let's know where we are going.
Okay, Ebony. Good morning, Ebony. Are you there? You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank God I could get through. First of all, I want to agree with Software. I will not say it's a very valid point. Yes, the governors are coming out, the election period and all of that. But I want to add to that. I want to say, even aside the election and all of that, even if the election was not postponed and it was last Saturday, it is only expected that if these governors have their hearts and their heads in the right place, this is what they would do. They would come out boldly to give an instruction to their citizens, because it is eminent, it is obvious just like we have been reiterating on the show, lawlessness will bring chaos.
Right.
Now, it is fully obvious that President is not talking, CBN governor is not talking. Whether it is constitutionally proper, they need to, or they cannot hold them. We don't know that. We don't know the Constitution. We need them to just come out and talk. And if they keep silent, people will do what? They will go and take those into their hands.
Right.
Now, aside elections coming, what these governors have done is to try and put a limit to what the citizens, to how far they can go out of hand. Yeah. Because at least when you say something, now they come out to say something. That's what the citizens want to hear. They want them to come and say something. See everything, come out and say, collect 200, it's valid. Don't do 500, don't do 1,000. People come out and say, he knows the pain. He knows what we're going through. How do you know what we're going through if you're saying you don't know the news? You don't see what Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Ebony.
This morning on The Nation, I took the major headline and immediately CBN have already reacted. So the attention of the Central Bank, according to this reaction, has been drawn to a story published in the Nation newspaper on Monday, March 13. This morning edition,
but they have not reacted to the
alleging that the governor has launched a fresh plot against President-elect. The aforementioned story went further to allege that the governor has made certain amount of money available to a candidate ahead of the March 18th gubernatorial poll. We wish to inform members of the public that this story is completely false and malicious, as the CBN governor does not know and has never met or even spoken with Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, either in person or through a proxy. We wish to reiterate that the CBN governor does not take part in politics and therefore urge anyone with contrary information to prove the governor wrong by providing any facts. As such, the governor and his team at the CBN should be allowed to focus on their assigned job with a view to achieving the statutory mandate of the bank. 10 days after they did not see the Supreme Court order. 10 days after. This morning, I just took this story. Just this morning, we've been waiting for these people to answer us on the way forward. Though, after 10 days, they did not see a Supreme Court order that the whole country is talking about, but they see this one.
Yes.
That go personally to the person. This CBN governor cannot separate himself from politics. He had intentions to run for president in this country under a party's platform, and he's abusive of his office. And as it is now, he's deliberate about ruining this country. I'm saying it with all sense of responsibility on this show. This morning, I take this headline. I don't understand.
All right, let me take
And Nigerians are clamoring. You say you've not seen all the protests happening. When they were burning banks, he didn't see that. When they were attacking people, he did not. The CBN did not deem it fit to address. When they went into bank vaults, putting phones on bank staff faces, exposing their lives to threats, and all this accident that happened across the country, he did not react. But this morning, he reacted to a personal accusation to his person, leaving the office, the appointment, the office that you're sitting on that controls, affects the lives of Nigerians. He did not direct that one. But the one that affects your person, you address it.
His priority.
Thank you very much. I like that to sink in. Because that's the Nigerian story right
I've
there.
read your
Because it's never really about the people, it's about your personal interest. And that's exactly right there. Nigeria the Nigeria we're trying to change just played out in exactly what CBN did this morning. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Hello, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
All right. Good morning to you, ladies. First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. I'm following the program this morning, and it will seem like everybody is echoing the same thing from all parts of the country.
We're all feeling it.
But honestly, I wish to say that I look at this cash situation in two aspects. I would not want to give all the blame to the president, neither would I want to give all the blame to the CBN governor. From what I have known about the president over his last 7.5 years in government, he is somebody who tends to respond to what his aides put on his table. And so for me, as much as we will encourage Nigerians to call out the president, I think we should also encourage Nigerians to call out the CBN governor. Because in as much as the CBN governor does not make a case before the president for a need to respond in line with the Supreme Court judgment, the president may not likely.
Thank you very much, Ozoze. You know, another thing, Bisi, let me come to you, because what this entire episode also reminds me how important communication is for Nigerians or regular people. When your leader communicates, even if you don't, Nigerians are not asking for much. Just talk to us. Show us that you care. All we need is an engagement. If you continually engage Nigerians, they will understand and they can always tighten their belt. But what do you think would stop a CBN governor or even the president? Okay, they say we shouldn't blame only him. Mr. President, from speaking at this time.
The needful. So the thing is, people will work according to the priorities that they have. People will work in self-preservation. So this is me jumping to, they've tarnished my name or they've called my name or let me quickly defend myself, not looking at the bigger picture of all the problems that people have been calling you. They want to hear your voice. But it's very convenient to quickly respond under 24 hours to an allegation that you feel has been done against your person. That shows that the problems of Nigerians as a whole does not affect or concern. We always say we want leaders who our welfare will be their topmost priority, but it's becoming obvious that it's just about them amassing power, amassing wealth, protecting themselves, alienating themselves from the society. They don't feel the pains that we feel. You will not tell me that he's looking for cash to do any transaction. He has cash at his beck and call. So he's not feeling the pains of the people. His businesses are not, being affected in any way. So it's easy for him to stay aloof and wait, okay, let's have a consultation with the president today, let's have one tomorrow, and be discussing or that they used to discuss. We don't know the outcome of that discussion. Instead of taking the pulse of the people to say, Oga, this thing we did, though, is not working for our people. Our people are struggling. What do we do? Can we pause it? Can we stop it? Can we do more Naira notes since we have destroyed majority of the other ones? Practical solutions, and then you come out and tell us exactly what you are doing, give us a time frame on how we can just, tighten our belts for a bit, and then come, nothing like that is done, but you quickly respond to the one that affects you personally. It touched your blood.
If it was a defamation, you can make a file a criminal defamation or civil case against Nation newspaper. You don't have to respond to this issue since you refuse to respond to the one that concerns all of us.
Full response.
You do full letter, but you don't get full letter to type.
Let me play the devil's advocate here, because sometimes you have to look at things on different sides. Is it possible? Is it possible? Because I saw a video where rotten plantains, because obviously people are not able to sell because people are not accepting old notes. Do you think the issue is the news hasn't trickled down? Because in the early days, when they started this whole thing, it took a while for Nigerians to accept that this is no longer a legal tender. My own grandma, when my mom was in the house, was still putting offering using the old notes, because it takes a while for these people to get the message. So is it possible that maybe our traders, those in the rural areas, have not gotten the brief about the Supreme Court judgment, and maybe we as Nigerians should be patient and give CBN a few more days to hopefully let this thing trickle down? I'm just...
So I think that it's good to try and find a spin, on this drama that is happening in Nigeria. But I don't believe that it has anything to do with that, because we've seen obviously that CBN can respond to whatever touches them. So CBN could have responded. CBN knows that they were the ones that issued the order that there's a change of currency and the previous notes is no longer acceptable. So they know that until they issue another order saying accept, the citizens will not follow, even if there's a Supreme Court order. We've had a precedence of the fact that the government does not follow rule of law and Supreme Court order. So because there's a precedent showing that, nobody will be eager to throw themselves into the ring and be stuck with cash in their hands, and they'll be struggling to find a way to pay it into the bank, because they'll not have to generate a code and all of that to get the money to the bank. I am happy that the governors are stepping up. And funny enough, and I don't want to be misquoted, because I mentioned that all governors will speak up because it's about election. People will start making it look like the governors are talking because it might favor them for election. So Ludo was not contesting before he spoke up. It's just about the people. And the governor did not, the Lagos State governor could have spoken up earlier, until when we know now that there's a Supreme Court judgment and he's standing on that Supreme Court judgment. So there is, what do they call it? You have you have a legal backing to say that a Supreme Court judge has already said this. If you don't comply, we can always go to court. You can't charge me for it.
According to Governor Soludo, he says, and these are his words exactly, the governor, Dr. Godwin Emefiele, personally confirmed the above to me during the phone conversation on Sunday night that the old notes are still legal tenders. So if you are personally confirming to your friend, what is wrong to publicly confirm?
Yes.
Why must you have side conversations?
Please, let's not insult him too much. We need him. So let's not be begging him. Let's beg him.
You are CBN governor for yourself and the Emefiele family.
Somebody has power. Let us be nice.
At this point, it's business. I'm with you.
Yes, I'm with you.
I'm with you.
We have a right to be angry. We also have a right to be civil.
Yes.
I'm just saying that.
The uncivilized one is the CBN governor who cannot separate himself from the office he's occupying.
Yes.
No, but
Yes, go ahead.
He holds the currency of Nigeria in his hands right now.
Which currency?
So
That's why
the
he's an appointee to serve us.
Yes.
See, so far we are not beggars. We are dignified people as Nigerians. We are not begging him. We're not begging him.
Right. But right now we are begging.
Should immediately remove him. I'm not begging him. I have never sat here to beg him.
No, I'm not saying begging him, but the truth is you need cash.
President. That's what you should be grateful for.
The moment I came into TVC, I asked him, I said I need to raise cash again. The truth is the average Nigerian is begging to get access to their own money. There's a crisis on ground. So being angry is valid, but understanding that the person in charge, we need to find a way to be reasonable with him, because when we get angry and we just shout and we just say they are shouting again, is corruption fighting back? There's an excuse. But right now we cannot.
Okay, let me take this call from Ade. Ade from London. I mean, listen, many Nigerians would agree with you guys. Yes, go ahead, Ade. You're live.
My own point is this. We are missing the point. It's not the fault of the Emefiele. It's not the fault of the president.
Wow.
It's the fault of president-in-law, the Attorney General of the Federation. It's his job, his duty to tell the president the Supreme Court has spoken, and you have to obey.
I agree, sir.
It is his job.
I agree too.
Yes,
I agree too.
Not the Buhari. So it's the in-law. It's in-law.
Wow.
That's what should lose the government of Nigeria. That's what I'm saying.
I agree too.
They should remove that title from
I agree too.
God bless Nigeria.
That's enough. Okay,
He was the one who represented the federal government in this suit.
In the city, yes.
So he should have gone home immediately and say, sit out, let's just follow. Being a law officer himself.
I also blame Nigerians. Maybe let's start sharing the blame now. So I also blame Nigerians. Let me tell you, I blame you and I, because we should, that same energy, they vex. Go and vex for the supermarket woman who won't collect your 1,000 naira. No, but vex for the plantain seller.
I know that was vex for the onion and if our market that she did not give me. They will be people
they can't vex it for each other. We can't vex for each other.
The point is, the reason why you must vex for the onion seller is because you have a Supreme Court judgment that is empowering you
that has not enforced on the onion seller.
So you wasn't a party. You don't have access to the CBN government.
We will find access.
I will tell you, BC, plantain chips and sell it to me. I will give you old notes.
Come and buy my cup. Right, try and buy my cup.
With old notes.
Do you show me what's in Naira? How much do you want to pay?
I'll give it 1,000 naira for you.
Let me see. No, that one. Buhari said we will not collect that.
That's it.
Wait, just hold on.
Supreme Court judgment says that you should collect 1,000 naira.
You heard the judgment. I don't say again. I don't sell again. I'm not doing again. I'm going to chop my own cup. Leave her. I'm not selling again. Will you force my cup?
We're both going to lose.
So we shouldn't fight each other.
I will be going to lose. Let's imagine I don't have perishable goods. I will lock shop. I'm going to sleep.
Simple. See the one thing you have perishable goods.
Which is why plantains were getting rotten.
Exactly. So who's losing? The owner, the political
who's losing?
Yes, but
somebody is sitting down trying to get us into a recession.
So
somebody who is an expert is trying to get us into a recession.
So the way the resolution between you and I, the two traders talking, where we both now agree, collect, make you collect, so that two of us can, let's forget CBN for now.
Okay, yes. Then after forgetting CBN, when I don't gather all the cash, I don't go back, they come bounce me. I go chop
them. They don't go bounce you for
bank. They will bounce me now.
Go back to trade by
you don't know that banco is another matter.
They will bounce
People went to the ATM just last week at Yanopaja. They withdrew old notes. And then they went to try to buy something. And the people refused to collect it in the market. And they went back to the bank to deposit. The bank said, where's your code?
Imagine.
You don't know the situation. We will know what's happening on the outside in the streets.
Trade by barter.
Let's go on a break.
Trade by barter. Trade by barter.
Let's go on a break. Let's so that Nima can calm down.
Okay.
Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's take a few comments on social media. I have one from someone here. I won't mention her name. She said that, what are the legislators afraid of? They should commence impeachment proceedings against Buhari. After all, many of them aren't returning to the legislature. So, because everybody's doing their last minute thing, and if you feel the president, the government right now, is not listening to the yearnings of Nigerians, maybe it's time for you to start showing your power, because before you couldn't show your power because you're in the same party, but now all of you, many of you are not coming back. You might as well start the impeachment proceedings according to this comment.
But they may want to come back later. You know the way our politicians are, they never want to resign. So if I now go and show myself and I'm coming back next tomorrow because I want to apply for something else, and then it starts, you know, it comes back to me. So everybody just tries to self-preserve. And that is where we have a problem as a country. We don't look at things collectively. We don't fight for the people collectively. We just want, once I'm okay, I'm satisfied, personal. It affects my personal home, my family, my children, my great-grandchildren, we are okay. The other people, they can sort out themselves. We want leaders who are able to look beyond themselves and look at the people. What impact am I making? How will they remember my name tomorrow? What is that thing that they will say, this person stood for this person fought for this? That's what we should be looking at. It's just so unfortunate that this thing is affecting us.
I think we'll get there. But for now, any bank that paid out old notes and then refused to collect it back should be shut down by the governor for gross irresponsibility, bordering on criminality. Williams Davis says, good morning, ladies. God bless you, Mariah. I keep asking myself, why can't Emefiele be arrested? Or this man? Or is the man greater than the law? The law said he's always going around with plenty security. Are they plenty than all the security agencies in this country? Good question. Pachilo says, the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, has denied plotting against Tinubu in a statement on Monday. So shocking. Me, I'm just wondering, you know, this plantain example, myself and my husband argued about it yesterday, and it was like, Nigerians, we should find we can find a way out of this. We are survivors. We can find a way to float. We can, you know. So it now explains that the plantain sellers can actually do cashless and, you know, go to farm and do cashless. I said there will be a point in that entire chain of transaction that
where
cash
becomes
flow.
essential.
Now, what I know in market is that if somebody brings some goods in, you can have one shop and be the supplier, the distributor of everything.
Yeah.
When your goods come in trucks, all your colleagues that you're all selling the same thing. You know the person that's carrying 100 bags, the person that's carrying 10 tubers, the person that's carrying how many bunch of plantain, you know. So they are all there collecting the goods. They don't have to pay.
Yeah.
When they are done selling, they separate their profit and pay you back. And you are going to the farmers, to the bush market with cash. You are paying each farmer because you are not buying from one company. Yeah. You are talking as if it's a conglomerate of companies. Yes. You are buying from one farmer. Each farmer will say, my own is 10,000. You'll be surprised that each 10,000 plantain is what fuel the trucks.
Is the Alaru going to collect?
Thank you.
The Alaru that is carrying the Alaru that will just carry it down for you.
They do this
the person
for you
collect transfer. That's not possible. They cannot collect. It's not possible for them to be paid
down
in transfer.
15 naira, you cannot transfer to me.
Even those that, because I had that challenge before I traveled when we had people that wanted to cut the grass in my farmland and we had to pay them cash because their money per day is 3,000 naira. So the person wants to collect 3K. You want to send me to the bank to go and collect 3,000 naira when I need to use it to feed myself. So we are forgetting that a lot of Nigerians and the people are suffering. Someone really close to me, I can't even mention, very, very close to me. We had to be trying to get money across to them, 5,000. We took, I think it would have cost my dad had to go and give this person 5,000 naira because they couldn't eat. Old person, all children abroad. I'm telling you that a lot of people I met abroad, their parents are starving because they can't get money to them. They are begging that, do you know anybody that can give my dad 2,000 naira because he can't buy food? Imagine. So we are talking about these crucial little things that the people can take for granted. It's bad.
So when we talk about leadership, and I mean, because as much as we can lament, but we must also bring this back to how does Nigeria move forward? Because we always just say, Nigeria is just better than my old note. I don't buy from the Nima, they do shakara.
I said I don't sell again.
That's all that I have my entire life.
Emefiele have not spoken.
That's all.
Emefiele have not spoken.
Anyway, so the point I was trying to make is that it goes back to leadership, and I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
But you see, Nigerians really, the truth is that people, individuals, are the Nigerians, not the system. The system works if we make it.
We're not talking about leadership.
Some people, yes, leadership. Some people blame the constitution. But we have a constitution that is functional, but the people are not implementing it. Same thing we're having here, where it is this individual person, either the president or the governor of the Supreme and the CBN, they are the ones that are totally working against the interest of the people, not the system. So Nigeria itself is a good country. It's a country that actually can survive if we have the right people at the right places. What we are seeing right now is a man who had interest for presidency and is now being spiteful because he lost in the primaries, and he's using that because he has the laws to back him up. They can say, there's nothing he's doing that is illegal.
He doesn't have the laws. The CBN just said that, and I wanted to read the judgment. I closed it. No, so that we're not just talking as if we know him personally. I don't know him personally. All I just want him to do is be a governor for me. As an appointee of government. Sorry, I'm looking for the job. When I find it, I'll open it and read it. The Supreme Court says he's not above the law. He doesn't have a personal agenda. He cannot be anti-Nigeria and be an appointee of Nigeria. You cannot use Nigeria to fend for your personal interests. There's a clash of interest. What the law even expects of him is that once that clash of interest happened, when he was trying to paint cars up and down, over 1,000 cars, he painted with his ambition that time, he should have stepped aside from office. As soon as that clash happened, if he had stepped aside, there had been this man does not have dignity. If he had stepped aside, he has no integrity. I'm coming. Whatever I'm saying, I'm backing it. If he had integrity, he should have stepped aside. I'm saying me, saying it. Me, I'm a lawyer. Come and sue me. You should have stepped aside from office with that interest. Once that clash happens, it gets us here. That's why the law always says once your interest clashes, if I'm sitting in a position,
because we can be
I said my name.
But
my name is Nima Akasha Zibiri. Sue me. If you're in an office, you're holding a position and there's a clash of interest, immediately you vacate and separate yourself from that office. You even let your people know. I am an arbitrator. It is one of those things that they won't train us as arbitrators. Basic. You move away so that this kind of thing cannot be happening. Today we are second guessing every decision you
make. So that's the thing.
Let me come to you. I have a call to take and I'll come back to you. Good morning, are you there? Like if I call Hassan, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Wow.
Serious one.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Hassan. It's been a while. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. You see what is happening here is this. The box stop on the table of Mr. President because he is still our president and commander-in-chief up to 29th of May this year. That's number one. The second person culpable for this problem is Godwin Emefiele of CBN. Look, our economy is a product of informal sector. People are suffering now. Go to the villages. People that use perishables. Our farmers are suffering. People are giving them wrong alerts. These people are 419 our people. We, the CBN, the president, agreed with the judgment, but he refused to accept the judgment. The CBN governor agreed with the judgment of Supreme Court and agreed to implement the judgment. This is double stand on the part of Mr. President and Godwin Emefiele. And the banks, I don't see banks issuing old notes without the instruction of CBN. I was in the bank. I was given the old notes. But the people are not accepting because no formal announcement from the president as he did when the issue of 200 Naira note came to play. He should come out and talk, or he should tell the CBN governor to communicate to us so that people can start taking it. You cannot give us money with the right hand and take it with the left hand.
Exactly.
That's what we are seeing now. Good morning.
Okay, Tope, you have the floor.
So I'm of the opinion that the CBN governor would keep on getting personalized accusations. People would always say that they would question his integrity. People would question his sincerity. People would question every CBN policy because the CBN governor had made a political move. And it is important that we understand the impact of this, because I would have just taken a lot for the first few months of this policy. I was on this show defending the policy. I was here saying it was good, trying to see something positive about it, listening and believing in them. But when your policy, when the implementation of your policy causes so much hardship and it outweighs the whatever good intentions that you have. So my appeal to the CBN governor is, for whatever reason, if some Nigerians have offended you, it's not all Nigeria that offended you. You're a citizen of Nigeria. You have family members here. It's important that you just speak and address the press. Obviously, you can, because these press people just did a press release today to address something that was mentioned today. So obviously, he has a team that can work. We would like him to just simple letter. Just four sentences. Yeah. You are going to support the Supreme Court's judgment. Full stop, and everybody will have peace. Let me take this call from
Oluwaseun. Good morning, Oluwaseun. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live, sir.
Guys. It's just unfortunate that we find ourselves here in this mess. You see, I don't understand. Is the law made for man or man made for the law? Because, this thing is looking too technical and too difficult. I don't know why they're not reviewing this, and reviewing it to people they serve. Now, anyway, on the lighter note, you see, maybe we should resolve to doing trade by barter. Okay, I need a tuber of yam, so now I can do a website, develop a website for that tuber of yam, because this thing is so crazy now. People can't do anything now. So, Emefiele, this is a Mikemi that is, we are tired of it. He should review this thing. He should talk to us, because this is wrong. In a sane environment, he should be sent away. He should be sent back in. This is wrong. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Take two of those Supreme Court orders, just to see that we create laws so that there will be sanity. The Supreme Court ordered, one of the third of their order was that the 3 months notice given for the implementation and completion of the said demonetization policy, by which time old 1,500 and 200 naira notes shall cease to be legal tender, does not satisfy the conditions set out in Section 20, Sub 3 of the CBN Act 2007 that governs this man. You are not above the law. You are not above Nigerians. You are not above us. Yeah. If at all, anything at all, you are within this country and subject to every laws of this land, including the Constitution. Why are we here?
So what I've noticed is, we talk about leadership, we talk about Nigeria, how we want things to be better, how we should start working towards having a system. But I'm beginning to realize that the powers that be that benefits from every system will always not want the systems to work. Because when the systems are effective, then they are not able to circumvent it. So sometimes it's corruption, like they say, fighting back the systems. You have put the laws in place. You know that these laws must be followed for us, for the common man to have a bit of, benefits of the system. And then you find a way to go around the laws. It doesn't affect you. You separate yourself like Animal Farm now. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Until we get leaders there who say, I am a common man. I know I'm in leadership, but I am a common man, and this system must work for all of us. We just keep going round and round and round and round and round. So we need to be careful with the people that we select.
Let's take a few more comments and we wrap up.
Omar Akin says, artisans working in my project site stopped working this month because there's no cash. People making the laws believe we can do cashless, but they forget there's an infrastructure deficit to back up the cashless policy. Edward Bamon says, good morning, ladies. To buy maize in my village, in Mangu, a big whatever of maize with cash is 14,000. Wow. And transfer is 18,000 as of last 2 weeks. Yeah. So how do you expect people to do without cash?
Let me take Mr. Kunle from Ibadan. Good morning, Mr. Kunle. Are you there?
Yes, good
You're
morning.
Live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, man. I used to enjoy this program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, man. Please, man. A situation like this, man, one would be thinking like those people that used to play lottery, either play Baba Jebu or pool. You know that when you are playing pool or you are playing Baba Jebu, so you have to be somebody who will be thinking that, okay, how do I win? Which member I will put on that will be able to win Baba Jebu? This situation now. Shall we be thinking maybe because of the kidnappers? Shall we be thinking because of the terrorists? Shall we be thinking because of the politicians? Shall we be thinking because of the don't change people? Shall we be thinking because of those POS people that
I didn't get the link.
The point was trying to make. But we have to wrap up very soon. I think
I've lamented enough. We're tired.
We've lamented, and it's important that these shows like this, sometimes we spend the day, because usually we should have several segments, but we chose to stay on this because just in case somebody isn't getting through, maybe a full 2-hour show would get through to somebody at the CBN or at the president's office. So it's the same way that was the same person that pressured the president to come out openly when the scarcity was so bad, and therefore you now pronounce that we can use the 200 Naira notes. Remember? That same person that did that job, we are also appealing to you to please speak to Mr. President, to come out openly, to tell Nigerians to continue to use the old notes till December 31st, as said by the Supreme Court. And just for those of you that have forgotten what the old note looks like, this is what it looks like. For those of you that have forgotten,
they cannot forget. This is what we know. No, you see the new notes.
Some people are not collecting anymore. They just want to collect. So please, this is what it looks like. This is still a legal tender in Nigeria.
Yes.
I can still give you for the number of you, if you like.
I don't want, I'm cashless.
But I'm still not saying my call.
Giving you.
President has not spoken.
All right, we have to wrap up. Any final comments?
Yes, William Olajumoke said, it shows that some people are above the law, period. Why can't they arrest Emefiele just because he had a lot of security men with him? Is it more than all the law enforcement agencies in the country? He was appointed and can be sacked if he's not functioning. That's where the blame on the president comes in. Can an employee be more powerful than the employer? Will a CEO keep quiet when locked out of his office by his gatesman? The president also shows that he's above the law if he can't call his employees to order. And that's all. That's some sit-up.
The CBN code should be removed. Exactly. That's how we are sure that you can do your transaction. The money banks are just supposed to hold our money for us. So the money I've given to you, if I come to collect, I shouldn't have an issue collecting the money. Take out the code.
And if there's a reason for the code, open your mouth, let Nigerians know. Because people may know at your office, but the woman on the street that is having to get demanding that she has a code might not know. So that's why...
And the code is empowering a few people.
Yes, there's no reason for that.
Lots of money.
It has moved people from POS payment to cyber cafes and printers.
That is all we can take on this morning's show. Our hope is, we've heard from 2 governors so far. We're waiting to hear from El Rufai because he's never silent at times like this. So Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos has spoken. Governor Soludo of Anambra has spoken. We're waiting for more governors to come out. And even if our president is not speaking, at least you can talk to your own people. Let them tell the retailers, the store owners, the NURTW. You mentioned that earlier. Very important.
NURTW
buses.
Inform
tell
them.
your people to collect.
Once you do that, the message goes fast. And we're good to go. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.